Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about the Middle East and the water crisis there. All right, so to start us off, today's essential question is, should people in the U.S. care about the water crisis in the Middle East? So that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about in class, and some things that you're going to be thinking about tonight. Our learning objective is that we will be able to examine how water scarcity affects the lives of the people in the Middle East. Tonight's agenda, we're going to start out with a short writing activity. Then we're going to go into a mini lesson about the Middle East. I am going to be the first one to admit that I am certainly not an expert on the Middle East, but hopefully after the next few days we'll all learn a little bit of something. Then we will have a map activity and we'll follow up with some next steps. So the first thing I want you to do is free write, just for about 4 minutes. What do you know about the Middle East? Think about any kind of experience, anything you heard in the news, any kind of TV show, whatever, wherever you get some of your information and ideas from. Pause the video and free write, what do you know about the Middle East? So do that now. All right, welcome back. So tomorrow, one of the things that we're going to be doing, or next class, we're going to go over some of these things that you wrote down. So make sure that you have your notebook ready to share that, and a few of the things that we're coming up with. And so let's go and talk about the Middle East. All right, in this first slide here, one of the things you're going to notice is this woman on very, very dry land. If you take a very close look at it, you're going to see how the land is essentially just crumbling under her feet. And now look at these two pictures. So these are pictures that were taken from space, and they show the contrast between a lake in Iran in 2000 on the left compared to how it is in 2014, which is on the right. So one of the things I want you to do is list 3 details that you see in this picture. And what do you think this image is showing? Alrighty. So here we see a young boy drinking from a public tap. In many parts of the world, people don't have their own water, their own source of water coming out of their kitchen sink. Instead, there's more of a public tap that they have to go to. The water situation in the Middle East is very precarious. Many countries in the Middle East face problems of water shortage due to the semi-arid climate and an increasing demand created by population and economic growth. So it's not just that the land is dry, but also the number of people who are using up those resources. And also, with the economy growing, a thriving economy actually demands more water. These countries are under severe stress of water supply, not only in the case of quantity, but the water quality is inferior. So it's not only that they don't have enough, but they don't have very clean water. Their water is often unacceptable. Water scarcity is the most critical in the Middle Eastern countries, and population growth is as severe as the rest of the world. It is projected that per capita, renewable water supply will fall from 3,430 cubic meters in 1960 to 667 cubic meters in 2025. In several countries of the region, renewable fresh water will barely cover basic human needs within 2 decades. The Middle East countries have faced many ecological distresses recently, and shortage of fresh water availability is the foremost of them. Millions of people in this region already lack access to sanitary water, as fresh water resources are becoming increasingly scarce. In this picture, we see a boy pushing a cart with jerry cans filled with water in Aleppo, Syria, where water shortages are thought to have contributed to the start of the Civil War. So a lot of times in America, we hear about wars starting over oil. It's also interesting to see the role that something as basic as water can play. Middle Eastern countries, like the United Arab Emirates, Yemen, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, are facing distinctive problems that necessitate instant global action. The Middle East countries hold many of the largest oil reserves in the world, which produces most of the area's wealth. But the adverse climate conditions and environment make living harsh in the region. The Middle East is in need of fresh water resources for the land, for essentially in the land for farming. So let's take a look at some of these places. If you look at this map, okay, the title of the map is Water Stressed by Country. Water Stressed by Country. And you can see the areas of low stress are the lighter colors, all the way up to the very dark red, which is extremely high stress. This map shows the average exposure of water users in each country to water stress, the ratio of total withdrawals to total renewable supply in a given area. A higher percentage means that more water users are competing for limited supplies. So as you look at this, you're going to notice countries like Brazil, okay, where there are rainforests, okay, they don't have a lot of stress. The US is kind of in a middle zone. And then over here with the Middle East, they're the extremely high stress, very dark areas. So pause the video, take a look at this, and write down any of your thoughts related to this map. What do you see in this map? Why do you think the Middle East is under water stress, based on some of the things you already know? All right, so let's take a look at another map. So this map is titled Drying Up. Nations around the Persian Gulf rely on imports and desalination to provide water to their growing populations. Annual renewable water resources per capita in cubic meters. So the gray area is water that was available in 1962, and the red is the amount of water available in 2010. A country is considered to suffer from water scarcity if it has less than 1,000 cubic meters per capita. So again, pause this video. What do you see in this map? What areas have shown the most change? How do you think that will impact the people living there now and in the future? All right, so now let's take a look at your map. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be filling in your map as far as labeling it by country. First, I want you to go and think and see how much of the Middle East you already know. So looking at the map, fill in any areas that you think you might know already. Okay, pause the video and do that, and then we'll come back and take a look at a map all together. Alrighty, so here's a map already filled out mostly. So I'll help you kind of navigate some of this and point out a couple highlights. So this large area right here is Saudi Arabia. South of that, we have Yemen, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates. You'll notice on the map there's this little piece right here. Okay, that is actually part of Oman. This part sticking out here is Qatar, or Qatar, depending on who's talking. That is spelled Qatar. And then, right around here on your map, it actually looks like an island here, but on the map that you have, it looks like a little line just sticking out. That's actually called Bahrain. Bahrain. Up here, we have Kuwait. Kuwait. Okay. Here we have Iraq, Jordan, Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey. The school actually had a trip there fairly recently. Here, Iran, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan. It's not on your map, but over in this area, southeast of Pakistan, is India. Up, going north of Afghanistan, we have Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and over here we have, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it right now, it is Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. There we go. I'll go with Kyrgyzstan. All right, so take a little bit of time, fill in your map with all of these countries. Alrighty, so our next steps. Obviously, you need to go and fill in your map. If you have a little extra time on your hand, you can go and make it look all pretty and, color it in, shade it. Then make sure that you complete your Cornell notes. Make sure you have good, thoughtful questions that will work to help you study, and bring both into class next time we meet. I hope all of you have a great night. Bye.